Yo, this is a motherfucker who needs no introduction. You are watching Breaking Records Radio.
All right, so you are now tuned into Breaking Records Radio. My name is Alex, and I have here with me one of the most influential acts in hip-hop, from his label relations with Eazy E to winning numerous Grammys with and without his group Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. Please welcome to the show, Krayzie Bone. What's good, my man?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, man?
Oh man, I said this at the beginning of the call here, but I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to speak to me here today. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, all good, man. All good. Thanks for having me on.
100%. I want to start and kind of talk about some of your early history. Prior to Bone Thugs, what was your first introduction to hip-hop culture? Not even necessarily injecting yourself into it in any way, but just from a fan's perspective. How did you end up getting introduced to the thing?
Man, well, first when I first started off with music, what really turned me on to music, period, was when I saw Michael Jackson perform once on television. And when I saw that, it just, that his performance just electrified me, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I told my mother, I said, that's what I want to do when I grow up, And from then it went from Michael Jackson to New Edition. And then one day my brother brought home an LL Cool J album, LL Cool J radio album. And man, when I started playing that album, I was so strung out off that album. It was like I had to learn the words to it. So what I did was I started writing down the lyrics to all of his songs. And as I was writing down the lyrics to his songs, I discovered the formula on how to write a rhyme like he was doing. And I said to myself, I was like, man, I think I can write my own rhyme, because all you have to do is make sure every ending word rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So I sat down and wrote my own rhyme one day, and I never stopped from then. From then on, I just kept going, kept doing it.
That's amazing. You mentioned the Michael Jackson thing. What was it about Michael's performance that really kind of captured you? Was it the dance element of it, or?
Yeah, man. It was definitely the dance. It was the dance. I used to imitate Michael Jackson dancing and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely the dance, man, and just just being on stage and hearing the crowd, how the crowd reacted to him, and it was all that.
So you say when you heard LL Cool J that your instinct was to kind of learn how to rap like him. Were you ever kind of teetering on breakdancing and getting involved in breakdancing due to I guess watching Michael and just dancing in general?
Man. Yeah, man. I went through all the phases. You know what I'm saying? I consider myself a hip hop student and scholar. Because I followed it from day one. Once I learned about it, I never left it. I knew everybody. I knew every artist. I knew what song was hot. You know what I'm saying? Even when people around me didn't even know the music. You know what I'm saying? So that's how much I was into it. So I went through all the phases of break dancing, pop locking, like all that stuff. I had my own crew back in the day. We used to carry around cardboards and looking for breakdance battles back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I was into all that, for real.
That's amazing. So you knew from an early age then that you wanted kind of hip hop to be your life at that point, right? Like career wise?
Oh yeah, definitely. I knew from a very, very early age that that's what I wanted to do. Like around, like the end, as I was coming out of the 6th grade and going into the middle school, I was fully indulged in hip hop.
So how did you end up meeting a lot of the other guys that would come to be known as Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, let it be Bizzy Bone or Layzie Bone, etc.?
Well, I met Layzie Bone and I met Layzie Bone and Flesh and Bone, which are brothers. I met them in the 7th grade. as well. Met Wishbone in the 8th grade, but you know,
Wow.
I met Layzie Bone. You know, we had a home economics class together, and I had a class with I had an English class with Flesh and Bone. And when we used to be in class, we used to sit in the back of the class and we used to rhyme. So when Layzie first came to the school, he did the beatbox with his mouth, and you know, like we used to sit in the back of the classroom and just rap and just just spend the whole time rapping.
Man, so that would have been, you guys were really young then, kind of fucking around with each other and getting to know each other anyways, and specifically getting to know each other on a hip-hop element as well. At what point do you start to decide that you guys are going to end up forming a crew, call yourself Bone Thugs and Harmony, and adopt the monikers that you guys end up adopting?
I mean, you know, we instantly became a crew, right back then in the seventh
Gotcha.
grade. You know, we instantly, you know, because that's what brought us together, like rapping. So after that, after we met each other, we formed a group in junior high called the Band-Aid Boys. You know, and we used to walk around with band-aids on our face, you know, and we were very known in junior high school. Like everybody knew who we were. We did all the talent shows, and you know, we just stuck with each other ever since the 7th grade. Like we was like inseparable.
That's amazing. The Band-Aid Boys. Did you guys ever put anything out as Band-Aid Boys? Let it be like 4-track demos or whatever at that period of time?
No. We never put anything out as the Band-Aid Boys. You know, we were still young. We didn't really know about, you know, how to maneuver and go to the studio and stuff like that. We didn't really figure all that out until really after high school. You know what I'm saying? After, you know, well, once we got in high school, we didn't really figure all that out until then. And by then, you know what I'm saying, we were just rapping. We didn't really have a name for ourselves. We had dropped the Band-Aid Boys, and we didn't really have a name for a while until we came up with Bone Enterprise. We used to be called Bone Enterprise, and you know, we met a local dude that owned a record store out there called Dow's Rapid Creation. His name was Kermit Henderson, and he gave us a local deal. And that's when we did a local album called Faces of Death. You know, and we did that, and man, you know, that got us a lot of notoriety locally in Cleveland. After we done that album, everybody in Cleveland knew who we were. You know, they knew who we were. They knew we were Bone, and man, that's when it really began. That's when we really started to get very, very serious about our music.
Were you going by Krayzie Bone at that period of time while it was still Bone Enterprise, or did that come later?
Yes. When we came up with the name Bone Enterprise, we all adapted the Bone names.
Gotcha. So at some point there,
Yeah.
yeah, go on.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, at some point there, you end up getting signed to Ruthless, and at that period of time, of course, Eazy E would have ended up being well known, coming from NWA. How did that end up going together? I guess in terms of getting signed to Ruthless and meeting Eazy E for the first time as well, because as I said, he would have been kind of a larger than life figure at that period of time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We was huge fans of Eazy E and NWA. So you know, like I said, we had become well known in Cleveland, and we just felt like, you know, that we went as far as we could in Cleveland to the music scene, and you know, just the Cleveland not really having a real big music scene at the time. So Flesh was actually going to school out in California. He was in college out in California, and while he was out here, he called us. He called us one day, and he was like, "Man, you know, like if y'all really trying to get on rap, because Flesh really wasn't in the group at this time like that." So he called us, and he was like, "Man, if y'all really want to get on, like y'all need to be out here, because you know He said, I done been to so many parties out here, and every party I've been to, there's been a celebrity there. He was like, if y'all come out here, like, I'm just gonna take it for somebody that has, you know, has power to put y'all on. So we conjured up a plan to get one-way bus tickets and all go out to California. And we was actually going out to California looking for Eazy E because, you know, we wanted to be signed to Ruthless Records. We wanted to be, you know, because at the time Eazy E was, you know, NWA had just broke up, and you know, we looked at Eazy E as being the underdog in the whole situation. So, you know, we always go with the underdog. So we want to sign with Eazy E. You know what I'm saying? So we actually set out and came to California looking for Eazy E. And when we got out here, one of the people that we used to work with when we did our local album, they gave us the number to Ruthless Records. And when we got the number, we start calling every day. Every single day we'd wake up, we'd take turns calling, just leaving messages. And one day we called the office, and the receptionist answered the phone. Her name was Keisha Anderson, and she was like, you know what? Y'all been calling here every day, getting on my damn nerves. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure Eric calls y'all back today. Y'all got my word. I will make sure he calls y'all back. So about an hour later, the phone ring. We answer the phone, and it's Eazy E. You know what I'm saying? I answered the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, can I speak to Bone?" And it was me and Bizzy in the room, and I answered the phone. He was like, "Can I speak to Bone?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is Bone. Who is this?" He was like, "This is Eazy E." And I was like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? I was like, so I took the phone and I tossed the phone. I was like, "It's Eazy E. It's Eazy E." And he was like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to speak to Bone." He was like, "That's us, man. You know, we rap. We out here from Cleveland." And he was like, "Well, shit, let me hear you rap." And then Bizzy tossed the phone back to me, and he was like, "Rap." And then so I just got to rapping. I just got to busting some lyrics, and he was on the phone like, "Wow, you know, like, where y'all say y'all from again?" And we told him we were from Cleveland, and he told us that he had a show coming up in 2 weeks in Cleveland. And then he also told us that he was going to call us back in 2 hours. But the people we were staying with, the female left the house, and she left the phone, and she locked the phone in her room, you know, and the phone was just ringing all day long, and we was just going through it like, damn, we probably missed a call. So what we did was, the person that gave us the number to Ruthless Records, the person we knew from Cleveland that gave us the number to Ruthless Records, we asked him, we was like, if we make it back to Cleveland, can y'all get us an opening spot on the Eazy E show when he comes there in 2 weeks? And the dude and our hookup told us, he was like, "Man, if y'all make it back here, y'all for sure got a spot on the show." So we hustled up some money to get back to Cleveland on the Greyhound. And then we went all the way back to Cleveland. And that's where we met him. After his show, we met him backstage. We talked to him. He gave us the address to his hotel. We went to the hotel for a while, and he just talked to us, and he asked us, "When are y'all trying to leave to come back to California?" We was like, "Man, we'll leave right now. We'll travel with you right now. We ain't got no clothes. We ain't got nothing to take. We ready to go now." And, you know, next couple of days, he had us bus tickets back to California.
Man, that's incredible. How old were you guys at that period of time?
Man, we was like 16 to 19.
Wow, man. Missing that phone call in that hotel room and not being able to receive those phone calls, that, man, at 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, that would have caused like huge amounts of panic attacks.
Man, I'm
You
talking
would have been
about
super stressful,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, we were stressed out, man. That's why we knew we had to get up and go to Cleveland to meet him, because when he heard me rap, he was real into it. He was so into it. He put me on hold. I could hear him he put me on hold, and when he came back, he was like, he put me on a speakerphone, and I could hear other people in the room. He was like, "Say that rap you just said again." And so I said it again, and I could hear people in the background like, "Oh, that shit crazy. That shit was crazy." You know what I'm saying? So we knew he was interested. That's why we took it upon ourselves to hustle up money to get back to Cleveland to be able to open up the show so we could be right in front of him and meet him face to face. And so when we got backstage and we went to his the dressing room, Yellow Boy came out. Yellow Boy came out and we saw Yellow Boy. We was like, "Yo man, can we rap for you?" And Yellow was like, "Sure, go ahead." So we started rapping, and Eazy E stuck his head out the door. Was like, "Y'all the dudes I talked to on the phone?" We was like, yeah, that's us. He was like, and he came outside and started talking to us, and like, and that's when he asked us when we wanted to go back to California.
Gotcha. Style-wise, you guys were super unique back then as well, right? Like when you were busting the freestyle to Eazy over the phone, did you guys had you guys already developed that kind of like singing, rapping style that you guys are known for?
Well, man, we honestly didn't even really know what we had until we would rap for people and they would tell us, like locally, because like we were so in tune with each other, like we was always around each other. We was always writing music together. So when we wrote, we used to have our writing sessions together. We would smoke weed and just sit in the room with a radio and just play instrumentals. And we would just write our rhymes together, and we would just have sessions all the time of what we wrote. We would put the beats on, like, okay, let's rap this one. And like we knew each other's rhymes so well that while one person was rapping, the other members would ad lib. And when we would ad lib, it would sound like we were harmonizing along with the person, because we would say like little words and like hold it out and drag it out. So people started calling us like the hip hop Temptations. It was like, y'all boys, like, y'all doing doo-wop, y'all harmonizing, and it sound crazy. And people started calling, in Cleveland, people started calling us broke millionaires. It was like, because as soon as somebody hear what y'all got, they gonna snatch y'all up and sign y'all. So that's why we knew we had to get out of Cleveland, because at the time nobody in Cleveland had the power to do nothing for us.
Had you guys heard anything that was similar to that at all? Because yeah, you guys, like, in terms of the harmonizing, it was almost like this like double time rap, like kind of faster rap, but it was very smooth at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had never heard anybody doing it the way we did it. I heard rappers maybe rap little kind of fast before, here and there, but they wasn't doing it like how we was doing it constantly, and then we was doing it with the harmonies and singing and stuff like that. So there was nobody else out doing it how we were doing it at the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting is you mentioned going out to California and just having the intent of getting signed to Ruthless, and you guys wanted to end up getting signed to Ruthless. That's really interesting to me, because the story that gets told about over and over again is kind of NWA ends up splitting up, and then Eazy and Jerry end up kind of having this Ruthless body, and they end up signing you guys as a solo act, and you guys are one of the first people, or as a group act, but one of the first people to really get signed to that roster, and that kind of new roster. It's interesting that you guys were even aware that Eazy and Jerry and Ruthless Records in general were kind of still existing and looking for new talent. How were you guys even aware that Ruthless was looking for people, and after the NWA split? Because I would have figured once NWA split, that kind of would have been it for people until they started hearing that they were signing acts like yourself.
Man, I mean, we was such fans. We followed them very closely. I used to I used to try to stay as updated as possible. I used to we had college radio in Cleveland back then, and they would play stuff that the regular radio didn't play, like new music from all over. So, and I would buy rap magazines, the Black Beat, the Yo, the Word Up magazines, and all those magazines back in the day to keep up on the information of all my favorite artists. So we knew once Eazy, NWA broke up, we saw that Eazy was still doing this thing, and we knew he was probably looking for other artists because, he had just signed BG Knockout and Drayster. So I was like, Ruthless is still doing their thing. So we like, man, let's still try to get on with them.
Gotcha. Yeah, one of the most, I guess, interesting parts of your career has been the whole, like, Mo Thugs family, and watching that roster expand. I'm not sure what other kind of larger collectives were around at that period of time. I know Dungeon Family came a little bit later, but all I can really kind of identify or think of is what Wu-Tang was doing and what kind of Wu-Tang had with Gravediggaz and a couple of the other guys. But either way, you guys were really early on kind of that collective family type expansion of a rap group, right? So from Bone Thugs to Mo Thugs family. What was your kind of thought process in putting that together? Because that ended up being kind of a really important part, I think, of hip hop history.
Yeah, well, that though everything we did then was like we had all that stuff already planned. Like we had our future pretty much planned to a point. We knew, because most of the people that we signed, we knew them way before we got signed, and we were always like a crew, and we all made a vow to, like, whichever one of us make it and get on first, we're gonna come back and get everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened. Like, so we had the name Mo Thug way before we even met Eazy. You know what I'm saying? We knew that's what we wanted to call our record label, Mo Thugs Records, because it was like more thugs coming after us. You know what I'm saying? So like we already had that. We already knew that we were going to do group albums. We already knew we was going to do solo albums at some point. We had all this stuff planned. You know what I'm saying? So it was nothing shocking about us doing solo projects or nothing like that to us, because, it was just our plan. Our plan was just playing out. So we knew what we wanted to do, and the artists, they was ready when we came back to get them. They was ready.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, you guys were so innovative and experimental at that period of time, not only in terms of your style and delivery and how you guys ended up crafting a lot of your songs, which was definitely new for what hip-hop was at, or where it was at that period of time. But yeah, even in terms of that larger kind of collective, like I said, like what Wu-Tang and kind of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees and all that kind of came a little bit later, and then the Dungeon Family stuff, and you have Odd Future and everything now. Like, that's a pretty important part of what hip-hop is, and those kind of larger collectives make up a large body of hip-hop culture. But you guys were really kind of early pioneers in that, especially if you guys already had that before even signing to Ruthless, that idea that you guys were going to end up embarking on that.
Yeah, man, definitely. We like I said, we followed Eazy and NWA very closely, and we saw what he was doing with NWA and Above the Law and CPO and DOC and all these people that he was releasing. So and also not only the West Coast, but we give a lot of credit to the East Coast, because that's what birthed my love for hip hop, was the East Coast. And then, so we looked at everything Russell Simmons was doing with Def Jam, and he had LL Cool J, he had all those artists over there up under that umbrella. So we figured out the model just by watching these dudes and studying what they were doing, just watching very carefully. And we was like, we want to have our own label, but we go put out all our people as well. So we knew the formula. We just needed the muscle.
Yeah, man, what incredible history overall. Not only just as Bone Thugs and Harmony, but as yourself, as a solo artist. The amount of material that you've put out is incredible, and the quality of the material, like, is equally as incredible. So shout outs to your history, man. 100%.
Thank you, man.
I want to fast forward to 2020. I've seen you've been really active, not only doing a lot of feature work, live performances. I see you have kind of one of those live session gigs in a few weeks. Are you currently working on new music on a solo tip?
Man, yes indeed, man. 20. I had a lot. We had a lot planned for 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like 2020 was like we had 2020 planned in 2019. You know what I'm saying? So and when COVID came and just like we had to abolish all those plans. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I have been doing is giving me a time to stack projects up. So right now I'm currently working on 10 different solo projects. And I have four of those completed right now. And I'm going into the next. Yeah, I'm going into the next one, which is Chasing the Devil Part 2. And I try to work on two projects at a time. So the next two I'm working on is Chasing the Devil Part 2 and the Ghetto Cowboy album.
When we talk about projects, are they full-length albums or just EPs or?
Yeah. No. Full-length albums, like 12 or more songs.
It's amazing. How quickly are you pumping these out?
Well, man, like I don't like to rush, but I've been, it's so much to write about now, so much stuff out in the air. It's been easy to go in and, and finish these projects because, and each of them has different concepts. Like, I just did a cannabis album to go along with my cannabis brand that I just launched. And the name of the album is called Leaves of Legend. It's an album with, how Bone Thugs-n-Harmony always made the weed songs. So it's a full-length album of 13 weed songs that I made. And then I have a compilation album, sort of like what we did for Mo Thug, but for the artists I'm working with on the Life Entertainment. I have a compilation album of like 17 songs of all the artists that I'm working with. Also just finished one album called Crazy Melodies, to where it's just me singing on it, like mostly singing and harmonies, like the entire album. It's much like an R&B pop feel to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I have a Thug Mentality bonus album that I finished to where I went in. I took a lot of songs that didn't make it on the Thug Mentality album, and I remixed them, re-recorded them, and I'm going to release those as well. And like I say, I'm currently working on the Chasing the Devil Part 2 and the Ghetto Cowboy album. So
crazy amount of work.
Oh yeah, I've been staying real busy, man.
Yeah. So what's the release schedule looking like for these? Are you planning on waiting until after the pandemic kind of settles down for you to be able to put some of these out and maybe go on tour, or are you releasing them starting now? What are the plans?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much just playing it by ear with this whole pandemic thing. Hopefully, they said they had this vaccines, or hopefully things will start getting better by next year sometime. Don't know when, but I'm not really waiting for that, because I know the fans want to hear some music, so I'll probably start releasing these projects top of the year, whether we're able to go and tour or not. I'll probably release the projects, do a few virtual shows just to get the word out there about the project, and I just go from there, and hopefully everything opens back up and we can get back to regular business sometime next year.
That's amazing. Are you planning physicals for these releases, or just putting them out digitally, or?
You said, am I planning what?
Physicals, like a CD, vinyl, tape release, or are you just putting them out digitally on like Spotify?
Both. Our fans, the generation we come from, they always love the physical. So we always make like physicals to get out to the fans, but it will be digital and streaming as well.
Man, that's really exciting. I'm stoked for all the future projects that you have on the go. Having 10 new kind of Bone Thugs related projects is super exciting on my end. Where can people stay up to date with not only yourself, but the collective and the music, and where can people kind of follow the music and what's coming out?
Man, well, I on my Instagram right now, Krayzie_Bone. Twitter, I am Krayzie Bone. The Bone Instagram, BTNH Live. man, and just we just right now we just working everything on social media right now, man. Like that's the best way to do it since we've been locked down and trying to keep in touch with the fans and stuff like that.
That's what's up. Again, man, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to speak to me here today. I appreciated it. And yeah, I'd love to have you back on at some point in the future whenever you do end up having new material surfacing. When these 10 albums are out, I'd love to be able to go through them and listen to them and have that conversation and go through some of these with a bit of more of a kind of a fine-tooth comb and talk about the work because, like I said, I'm really excited for these new projects to surface.
Yes, sir, man. I would love to come back on. Definitely. We got to do that.
All right. You have yourself a wonderful day, man, and thank you again.
All right, thank you, man. All love.
Perfect.
All right.